All right, we're getting this party started. Hope everybody's feeling good. This is our Sunday night mentorship call. Some of you know about this, some of you don't, but this is a big deal. We do this every Sunday night with our financial services company. It's called Youre, if you never heard of it. If you never heard of it, that's, no big deal. We're just now getting started. But our whole purpose is closing the wealth gap by closing the ownership gap. And what makes that kind of interesting for you is that we have a whole host of ways that we help you to build your self-esteem, your self-worth, so you're able to build your net worth. One of the things that I teach is that everything you want is waiting for you on a higher vibration. Knowledge keeps on pushing you up. Fear keeps on pushing you down. Love keeps on pushing you up. Love and knowledge is more synonymous than you think, because the more that you start to know people, the more you love them. You ever heard that? The more you start to understand the subject. Your favorite subject in school was probably the one you knew the best, right? Love and fear, knowledge and ignorance, they're polar opposites, and they're all the same thing. It's all different ways of saying the same thing. We're looking for the light, not the darkness. And I say that to say this. When you're in capitalism, you've ever heard us say you learn more, you earn more? Well, that's why we teach subjects like this. So share this with an entrepreneur. This is very important, what you're about to go through tonight.
CMO and COO celebrate the 7th year anniversary of Youre. This company has been around for 7 years.
You have a way to change everything with just a little bit of knowledge.
It was a beautiful weekend. So
everything you want is just waiting for you on a different level. Share this with somebody that needs to know that.
When is it going to be
Share this with somebody that needs to know that.
Stay tuned, okay? So
that's why I'm training you, literally like 5 days a week, sometimes multiple times in a day, because that's how dead serious this is. If I can go from nothing to something, with no college degree, I have an attention span of a goldfish. If I can do this, you can do it. It's just some information you need.
Go further, faster, with less.
My goal each night is to help you get more of that information, but I need your help. I need you to participate. You know what I'm saying? So while she's introducing me, this is the incredible Mrs. Ali Goins. I'm going to be giving you all kinds of things that I want you to be typing in.
Why Youre is now a fintech solutions company and one of Inc. 5000's fastest growing companies. All right.
We did that during
a pandemic, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in addition to that, with his day-to-day activities of serving through Youre, he is, high in demand, award-winning speaker, a trainer,
good evening.
TV and radio, and now podcast show guest featured on 60 Minutes. We're blessed and fortunate to have him. Tonight, you're blessed and fortunate to have him on the line tonight. So tonight's call is entitled 10 Reasons.
10 Reasons.
Suck at sales. So
10 reasons most people suck at sales, y'all.
Mr. Haziq Ali, are you on the line, sir?
Yeah, I'm here, Queen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Take it away.
All right. Listen, y'all, we all know that at the end of the day, if you don't close, you don't eat. The whole purpose of you talking to that client is to be able to get them past the fears they have and into the whole new world that you're presenting with the solution that you offer. Now, obviously, this is a Youre mentorship call. And Youre is a financial services company that's dedicated to closing the wealth gap by closing the ownership gap. But the thing about being in Youre is you deal with so many different business owners from so many different niches, so many different type of industries, because everyone can use the products that we offer. So this training is not just for selling financial services, y'all. This training right here is for being a better entrepreneur. One of my goals is to increase the life expectancy of the entrepreneur, because of the fact that I personally believe that entrepreneurs are literally the best people on planet Earth. I believe that we are the cream of planet Earth. I believe we deserve to live in luxury. I believe that we deserve to have the best of everything, because we're the ones that make the world a better place. An entrepreneur is a problem solver. An entrepreneur is someone who exists at the crossroads, y'all, of service and faith. What entrepreneurs do is take what they're really, really good at and use it to help other people. They manifest things that no one else can see and make it so that it's tangible. Entrepreneurs are the wizards. They are the modern day magicians of old. You know, abracadabra literally means I create as I speak. And one of the things that I love about entrepreneurs is that we are the ones who are literal, walking, talking, breathing examples of what happens when you decide to manifest the best part of yourself. You know, Oprah Winfrey's a TV host. Nope, she's a salesperson. Steve Jobs was an inventor. Actually, no, he was just a good salesperson. Bill Gates, he's a computer nerd. No, he's not. He's a salesperson. And what I need you to understand is that if you don't learn that you too are a salesperson, you're already behind the 8 ball in this thing called life. But this is for the entrepreneurs that realize the more they can up their sales, the more they can up their income. What I want you to understand, though, y'all, is that there are some premises that once you pick them up will change everything. School increases intelligence. What personal development does is increase your awareness. And I'm going to tell you something, you need both of them. But if there's one you need to focus on, you need to focus on your awareness. Because what awareness does is it makes the right choice obvious. What you need is more awareness. So I'm going to give you 10 reasons tonight that most people suck at closing. Most people suck at entrepreneurship because they do not understand the 10 things that I'm about to make you aware of tonight. So if you're ready, we're going to get into this. I want to suggest you put it in your power book. I want to suggest that you put it in, go grab a pen and pad, get ready. You know, if you're on Facebook, you can be using the comment section, or you can be sharing it to different people and putting your notes in the comments. You know, while you're grabbing pen and paper, I just want to give it back to Mrs. Allie Goins. It was so incredible getting to see her this weekend. We had a ribbon cutting at our new corporate offices. It was incredible. If you follow us on Instagram, et cetera, so forth, then you'll be able to see all kinds of that footage. But I want to give it up to Mrs. Goins and the whole LAT. It is incredible working with such integrous, powerful, self-motivated, service-first entrepreneurs like we have in this council, you know, that helps us to kind of like get the Nove brand and the Nove movement out to the world. It was just incredible seeing everybody this weekend. And I'm really excited that we could all be together. I can't wait. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to grab something to write with. Here's reason number 1 that most people suck at closing, y'all. They never tried. They never attempted to close. Write that down. They never attempted to close. I know this is common sense, but if you don't swing the bat, you can't hit the ball. If you don't attempt to close, then you won't. This is what you got to understand about this closing thing. You're a work in progress, and there are always 2 types of benefit that you get from working on something like a skill like this. It's the work you're doing on the skill, and then it's the work that the skill is doing on you. Check this out. Every single time that you attempt, you're going to get better. But because you're not really trying, it comes out in all these different ways. Like, for instance, even when you try, you're too quick with the answer, right? In your mind, you hate the fact that there's silence right there. Silence can be uncomfortable, y'all. But write this in the comments. Silence is golden when you're closing. Silence is golden when you're closing. Can somebody give me that in the comments? Silence is golden when you're closing. A lot of times what we do, man, as entrepreneurs, we rush to fill that space by commenting on, you know, what we want them to say. We hurry up. And so let's say that, you know, you ask them a question. You're like, can we meet up this afternoon? And they're like, no, I'm busy. And then you're like, oh, no problem. How's tomorrow? Right? But let me tell you how it sounds when you start to understand that you are owed this. When you start to understand that silence is golden when you're closing. Check this out. Now it sounds like this. Can you meet this afternoon? They're like, no, I'm busy. But I can meet next Tuesday. See what I'm saying? Because you were silent, now you put the pressure of that silence on them. Did everybody catch that? Silence is golden when you're closing. Silence is golden when you're closing. You ask them the question, and then you shut up. Is this making sense to somebody? Here's number 2. You perceive pressure like it's a bad thing. You perceive pressure like it's a bad thing. Somebody give me that in the comments and then give me a share if you agree that that's a bad thing. Being too polite is going to leave your pockets light. Being too polite going to leave your pockets light. You're going to have skinny kids. I'm going to tell you something. How easy you accept no proves you ain't sold. How easy you accept no, that just proves you ain't sold. You get what I mean? Millionaires, you have a biological imperative to help others and help yourself. You got to understand, nobody has to hire you. Nobody has to keep you at a job forever. Nobody has to pay you more, but you don't realize this. So you're wasting time closing people who can't even deliver, right? A lot of us do B2B sales. A lot of us are talking to people who have businesses, or we're calling upon offices, et cetera, so forth. Why are you asking somebody to give you something that they can't give? You see what I'm saying? Classic example is you asking for a referral from somebody who can't even provide it. Like if they some entry-level worker, they can introduce you to other entry-level workers, but they can't introduce you to the boss. They can't introduce you to the CEO in most cases. So what I'm saying to you is that this is just a way it shows up, but you got to stop thinking of pressure like it's a bad thing. You got to stop letting this subconscious fear lead you to accepting all of this time-wasting activity. You know this person can't help you. Why are you even talking to them? Step your game up. Here's number 3. You're unwilling to deal with emotions. You're unwilling to deal with emotions. Most people cannot stand the space between no and yes. Put this in the comments and then share this if you agree. Avoiding emotional output is a retreat from life. Avoiding emotional output is you avoiding life. You're avoiding life. Acknowledge reaction, millionaires. Acknowledge the experience that you're giving yourself. Live in the moment. It's just a feeling in your stomach. It's just a thought in your head. You can choose other thoughts. Instead of being scared to death that this person's going to tell you no, you can switch that around and be scared to death that you won't be able to help them, huh? You can't be scared of your emotions. You have to leverage your emotions, but the fact that you don't makes you suck. I don't know if you realize it, man, but while they going off and you calm, you've got all the power. Here's number 4, lack of belief. Lack of belief. I'm just talking to the entrepreneurs here. I touched on this in an earlier one. In an earlier one. Number 4 of why you suck is because you have a lack of belief in what it is you offer. You are not really acknowledging the opportunity that you are offering. You're not really acknowledging the opportunity that you have. Much less are you nourishing it. Much less are you cherishing it, right? What I'm saying is you probably wouldn't even buy your own product or service. You have a lack of belief. Do you know the difference between telling somebody about a restaurant that you read about versus telling them about your favorite restaurant, your favorite club, you know, this one spot you just love going to? Do you feel the difference in that? Me reading you some Yelp reviews versus telling you about my experience, it's night and day. You use more emotional words. You use more exciting adjectives. You use more of a descriptive language. You have 100 times more conviction in your voice because you're talking about experience rather than some kind of information. You know, it's wild. They be like, nah, man, I heard that club has a DJ. I heard that club DJ is whack. You like, what? Who told you that? You're just rolling over them. You don't even feel, right? You're steamrolling them. You're able to close them just on your enthusiasm. Can I get a witness? Is this making sense to somebody? All of a sudden, you're able to close people just off your passion. What I'm trying to say is maybe it's time for you to up your belief, right? If you own something and you believe in something, tell me if I'm right, but it's much, much easier to close other people on taking action. Is that a fact? But what if you can't buy your own product or service? Like you sell something like mortuary insurance, right? You won't be using that yourself, right? Here's what I suggest you do. It's time for you to do a deep dive into the minds of the customers. It's time for you to do a deep dive into the minds of the clients. What do they love about buying from you? Whenever somebody enrolls with me, I instantly tell, well, hey, what did you like the most? What did you like the most about what you heard? What made you say yes, right? That way, when somebody comes to you like, what makes your thing so good? Now you can lead with, well, I tell you 3 things that our best customers say about why they love us, right? Because you've done a deep dive into the mind of the clients you already have. What does that tell you? Where you can find more of them? What does that tell you? What you should talk about most when you're describing the product? What does that tell you? What kind of problems you solve better than anybody else? Now you're trying to ask them, hey, so what problem did you mostly get involved to solve? Now, when you're talking to other people, you not only have a story to tell them, but you have something to focus on if it hasn't become quite evident which one of the benefits they'll love the most. Am I making sense to you? I'm just bringing that up because 90% of the people that I talk to who are not doing well with their sales, it's because they're selling something they don't really believe in. They don't really believe in the outcomes. They don't really believe in the benefits that they're selling. They don't really see the vision that they're painting in other people's lives. They don't really see the outcome they can create in somebody else's life. They just got something to sell. Am I making sense? Because check this out, y'all. If you really did believe, wouldn't you do just about anything to close that deal? If you really did believe, wouldn't you feel like it's sort of like wrong for you to let them walk away? If you had the cure for something that is about to kill them and they don't believe you, wouldn't you fight to the death to save their life? That's how you got to think about this. That's called belief. You'd want other people to feel exactly what you feel. That's called belief. But when you don't have it that level, you got to ask yourself why. You have to believe to the point that you're like the moral authority on this. You have to believe, that you can remember a time you believed in something, or you believed in some movie, or you believed in some place you wanted to go so much that you were able to sell other people on it and convince them to do something that they really didn't want to do. You've all experienced that before. True or true? So what I'm saying to you is, don't lose your passionate insistence that the buyer says yes. Don't lose your passionate resolve that they take your solution, because they need it. They're the ones that don't know they need it. And because you let them, write this in your comments. When 2 people sit down, whoever has the most enthusiasm always has the most persuasiveness. When 2 people sit down, whoever has the most enthusiasm always has the most persuasiveness. Here's number 5, though. Number 5 is an incorrect estimation of effort. Incorrect estimate of effort. A lot of the people who suck at closing, y'all, they're not really thinking about how much it's going to take for them to get this done. They're not prepared emotionally. They're not prepared physically, right? They don't have the energy because they never work out, et cetera, so forth. I mean, you got to kind of see yourself as a warrior. I know some of you that are listening to me are ladies, and that's not what society is teaching you. But if you're an entrepreneur, you got to see yourself as a warrior. Yeah, you're a servant leader, but you got to see yourself as a warrior. You don't have a limit on how much income you can create. If you suck at sales, I guarantee you, your self-image is something less than where it needs to be. You need to be a warrior. But number 5 is an incorrect estimate of effort, because I want you to think about it. If you prepare to lift, 100 pounds, and it turns out that the weight is 500, you're out of luck. But if you're prepared to lift 100 pounds and the weight is only 3 pounds, you're going to crush it. Some clients that really need you are a 500-pound weight. Some clients that really need you are like 3 pounds. But what you need to ask yourself is, are you really training for the most difficult situations you'll ever face? The more sweat you lose in battle, the less blood you lose on the battlefield. Do you really think becoming a millionaire is going to be easy? Do you really think getting to the level where you can quit your job is something simple? Do you really think doubling your income is just going to happen because you really want to? Maybe your sales are worse than they should be because you have incorrectly estimated the amount of effort it's going to take. Here's number 6. You're being too reasonable. You're being too reasonable. What this society does is teach you to enjoy life instead of building a life you enjoy. That's what this society does. That's why I'm talking to you about being a warrior. Most people only get urgent when their survival is threatened. But by then it's too late. You don't want to wait and get urgent once you're 75. You get what I mean? You don't want to wait, and you don't want to wait and not be able to get that dream car until you're too old to really enjoy it. You know what I mean? You don't want to wait and have the body that you want. You don't want to wait and have the time to go to the beach after the body has left you. You get what I'm saying? After the energy has left you. You get what I'm saying to you? But here's a sad fact of life. Millionaires, the more deals you don't close, the less ambitious you become. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings, man. But I just want you to analyze yourself. You got to decide to put some points on the board, because the more deals you don't close, the less ambitious you become. Now you become more lethargic. Now you become more despondent. You become more critical. You become more negative. You become more hopeless. There's a word for people who expect to win. They call them winners. And then there's a word for people who expect to lose. Man, I'll pull somebody over and sign them up. It has nothing to do with the $500 at this point in my life. It's about me creating the discipline to urgently attack and finish with my goals. And then I'm on to the next one. Ain't that right, LAT? Millionaires, a lot of you are just completely unaware of the psychological game that's being played by the client. Buyers are liars. Buyers are liars. Buyers are liars. You got to write that in your notes. Buyers are liars. They are playing with you constantly. How many times do people need to hear this old adage before it clicks with you that these people are playing games with you? They are testing your gangster. I'm not trying to, let me throw out a disclaimer. When I say testing your gangster, that's a colloquialism that means they are seeing if you are worthy of leadership. They are seeing it because they consider themselves a boss. Why would they support anything less? If they don't feel that you have the confidence to lead them out of their problem, then why would they follow you? They are testing you. And buyers who are engaged in this process are liars, gifted black belt ninja level liars. And it's so funny. They do all the lying, but they brand us salespeople as we're the ones that are sleazy and all of that. But I want y'all to wake up here. I want you to wake up. There is a psychological battle going on, and it is a career killing, income killing, hope killing beast. And it's been honed by thousands of years of evolution. Do you hear me? It gives them a DNA that includes the ability to be as dishonest as they have to be to get out this sale. They will tell you anything to escape the pressure of the sales call. You're in the middle of a psychological war. But the reason your sales suck is you don't get that. Sellers can't close because they believe the crap that they're hearing. You believe they're telling the truth. Check this out. You're being lied to. Call me back next week. Let me think about it some more. Let me check with my spouse. Let me holler at my dog. And you believe it. We might end up doing something with somebody sometime. You believe it. You don't get it. They're lying. Here's number 7. You don't have a financial plan in place. The next training, I'm going to tell you some ways to get out of this, right? The next training, I'm going to tell you some ways to actually help with you. But first, I want you to realize, I want you to become aware of what's holding you back. Number 7 is you don't have a financial plan in place. No plan equals no belief. Preparation is the highest form of faith. You show what you're waiting on by showing what you're working on. You got to make room for it. Making room for it empowers whatever it is to grow. But do you even have a plan? Millionaires, if you just working to make somebody else's dream come true, you ain't never going to be a great closer, right? If you want to make sure your wife and your family can get whatever they want, you got to be a better closer. You get what I'm saying to you? Paying bills ain't going to make you a closer because ain't no excitement in that. I'm talking about whatever they want. Ladies, I'm talking about if you want your children to be able to have whatever they want, then you're going to have to be a better closer. The best that I've ever met did it for a purpose, not for the profit. Here's number 8. You're being taught to handle objections that ain't even objections, right? A lot of us spend time handling objections that ain't even objections. You've got to get to a place where you treat all objections as meaningless complaints until they prove it's real. When you treat a complaint like it's an objection, you validate it, and now they dig in their heels. Now they turn it into something they not because you're getting too defensive. Man, it's this show called House of Lies. It's not even that good a show. It was just on while I was working. But it caught me because they use a lot of NLP in this show. It's some old show that used to feature this cat named Don Cheadle. And he's one of my favorite actors, so I just had it playing. But they use a lot of neuro-linguistic programming in this show. Because the dude is a management consultant. He's illmatic. He's really good at his job. Disclaimer, that's what that means. And what I'm saying is there's this one scene that was wild because he's talking to a management client. He comes in, they fly into town, him and his team, and they're like, you're 30 minutes late. He was like, yes, sir. Actually, I'm 10 minutes early. And then one of his teammates talks to the camera and said, actually, we're an hour late. But he agreed with them and then went ahead and delivered the mind-changing shift in, right? He never said, no, we're not, because that would have destroyed the vibration. Now the person's digging in their heels saying, nah, you were. Hey, Andy, what time were they supposed to be? Right? But instead, he agreed and then inserted this mind-bending sentence. Now, I know this is going to go over some people's heads. You know what I mean? I encourage you to watch this training again. But all I'm telling you is you've got to learn to agree with everything before you turn it around. We teach you this kind of stuff here. Don't worry about it. We got you. But all I want you to leave this training with the awareness of, with this number 8, is that the more you validate it, the more real it becomes, the more solid it becomes, the more significant it becomes. Now it's a part of their pride. Now it's a part of their ego because you are arguing with them. You're giving them pushback. Just agree. Just agree. And then use that power against them. And that leads me to number 9, which is a shortage of closing material. A lot of you do not get the sales you deserve because you just can't persist until the close. You don't have enough material, right? You don't have enough in your arsenal. You're not showing, or you're not using the arsenal that you have. You're not showing the testimonies. You're not calling clients. You're not saying, wait a minute, there's somebody I need you to talk to that had the same exact problem. You don't even have a list of the problems that you normally get. Now, if you're in Youre, you're lucky because this is the easiest thing I've ever done. It is amazing. 9 times out of 10, if you are not getting your money, if your money ain't going crazy, it's only you're not exposing it to enough people, or you're not talking to the right people. You're talking to people who don't have a business, for instance. Or you're talking to people who don't care about their credit. But anytime our CEO is a subject matter expert on business credit, where else is somebody going to go to get business credit? And you get to offer it no money down, right? Or anytime our CEO is a subject matter expert for consumer financing, for Forbes magazine. I mean, he's a subject matter expert for Forbes magazine on business credit, and then for Forbes magazine on consumer financing. We have these kinds of, we're an Inc. 5000 fastest growing company in the world, right? We're a fintech. We're the first fintech company in the home-based business space. I mean, you just go on and on. We're letting all these people make 4, 5, 6 figures a month just working from their house. There's just nothing close to us, right? So it's really lucky if you are with a company like Youre. But even if you weren't, even if you sucked, right? I would say that that's good for you, because what it's forcing you to do is use more and varied and a stronger amount of different types of closes. You're going to be an entrepreneur the rest of your life. Trust me, there are few skills that will pay the bills like learning to get better at sales. So what you want is memorized, rehearsed, index card after flashcard of material until it's natural to you. All this stuff that we teach you, these closing questions and these 1-minute stories and these 2-minute stories and personality types and all that, you've got to study this instead of your favorite songs on the radio. You've got to study this instead of your favorite shows on Netflix. You've got to study this like what you're doing is being the first one in your family to change this family tree, to break some of these generational curses of mediocre living, break some of these generational curses of hand-to-mouth living and paycheck-to-paycheck life. It is going to be up to you, because sales cures all, and here you are, an entrepreneur, or you'd never be here right now. And that leads me to number 10, man, because the 10th reason that most people suck at their sales, most people suck at closing, is because they're focused on a completely wrong barrier. Millionaires, write this in your notes and mean it when you write it down. Everything that happens to me because of me and my beliefs. Everything that happens to me is because of me and my beliefs. Desire shows up in conversation. Belief shows up in behavior. And if your sales are not the way that they should be, if my sales are not the way that they should be, then it's my responsibility. As a matter of fact, it's my responsibility level that put me at the point where I am right now. You show me somebody's lifestyle level, I'll show you that person's responsibility level. Nothing happens to you. It happens because of you. So all I'm saying is you got to practice what you preach. I hope this was helpful to you. You know what I mean? I hope you got something out of this. I hope you found it powerful enough where you're willing to share it with a friend. Because at the end of the day, y'all, either your mind has to expand to match your goals, or your goals will just start to shrink